First 100 days, he promised to hit the ground running from day one, and he has kept his word. The new president, Bola Tinubu, and Vice President Kashim Shettima were at the desks a day after they were sworn in the hectic week-long festivities climaxed with the inaugural ball, which brought out the dance skills of both men and their spouses. Thanks for joining us on the maiden edition of the first 100 days in office. I am Abosedi Adeniran. President Bola Tinubu and his Vice President Kashim Shettima were at the desk today, ready and raring to go. This was a moment many caught a glimpse of the presidential motorcade. The honor guard and the mad dash by State House Press Corps to get the best shot. Vice President Shettima had arrived ahead of the president and was behind his desk waiting to receive him. The State House officials making their way into the president's office to introduce themselves.
We're moving in. Let's take it now. The Republic of Nigeria.
Our State House correspondent, Femi Akande, has more on today's welcome for the newest occupant at the seat of executive power in Abuja. Well, Femi, the villa came live today, and of course, all of the pleasantries, you were up close. What do you think was uppermost for the new president as he walked into his office?
Well, what was uppermost for the new president is the burden of the country, which rests heavily on his shoulders. There's so many challenges in different sectors of the country, from security to the economy, unemployment, monetary policy, and all of what he outlined at his inaugural speech. And you know, like he has also said that he's going to hit the ground running from day one. But it appears as if the first problem or the first major issue that this administration is facing, the Bola Tinubu administration is facing, is that of the growing petrol queues at fueling stations across the country. We saw the reaction to his statement that fuel subsidy the regime of fuel subsidy has ended. This caused a ripple effect among major oil marketers and petrol stations across the country. Marketers became greedy and started hoarding the product. This has caused so much hardship for motorists who are waiting for hours at petrol stations to just get product. Immediately, he resumed at the presidential villa, that is President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He met with the group CEO of the NNPC Limited, Mele Kyari. And of course, what was discussed, we believe, is the petrol crisis currently in the country, the removal of fuel subsidy, how the government would ensure that citizens are able to cope with the impact this would cause, and also ensure that the product is made available and regulates the pricing and ensure the marketers do not take advantage of this to reap Nigerians. Well, and the group managing director, the group CEO of NNPC also came out to talk to journalists. He told us categorically that the fuel subsidy regime is no longer sustainable. As it stands, the federal government is owing NNPC 2.8 trillion naira because it is the NNPC that makes the payment for subsidies, and the NNPC can no longer fund these subsidies on behalf of the federal government, and the federal government is yet to reimburse the NNPC the sum of 2.8 trillion naira. So what is best in the interest of the federal government, the NNPC, and indeed Nigerians is to stop the subsidy payments forthwith. And also the Petroleum Industry Act signed by the previous administration of President Muhammadu Buhari has already outlawed the payment of petroleum subsidy. And there was provision for subsidy in the 2022 budget and half of this year, that is from January to June this year. But that money for the payment of subsidy for this year is not available. So what is best, and the tough decision for the Bola Tinubu presidency, was to immediately stop payment of petrol subsidy. Well, the president came to his office, was received by the vice president, who also came to the office, who also arrived earlier in the presidential villa. They were taken round the presidential villa. He saw, so he was also shown some of the workings of the presidency, because there are some security briefs that he will only get when he fully assumes his position as president and commander-in-chief of the armed forces. He was given all of those security briefs, shown some inner chambers of the presidential villa, and we believe in the coming days some decisions will be made, some announcements and pronouncements by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu that will point the country in the direction his administration will take. Ambassador.
A busy first day it's been indeed, Femi. But then I'm curious also because the president also met with the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria. Any word on what was discussed?
Well, we are yet to know what was discussed between the president and the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria. But you know, as the apex bank and the crucial role they play in managing the economy, especially in terms of monetary policy, it's expected that, you know, the governor of the Central Bank will go and brief the president to give him a clear picture of where the country is in terms of its monetary policies. And you know also that in the president's inaugural speech, he talked about monetary policy, that he is going to review the monetary policy. He's going to ensure that there's a uniform exchange rate to just give stability to the country's economy. So we believe that it's all of those modalities that he is trying to work out with the governor of the Central Bank. But what was discussed in the meeting with Godwin Emefiele, we are yet to hear that, because it was a closed-door meeting, Ambassador.
Femi, just before you go, what signal are you getting concerning possible first set appointment?
Well, the president is keeping that up his sleeves. He's keeping it very close to his chest. We are yet to know who gets what. There have been speculations. Social media has also been agog with some fake news. A lot of information has gone viral, but all of this is not from official quarters. It's not from presidential sources in the villa. So we cannot believe anything we see right now. In the coming days, we expect to begin to hear some of those announcements. One of the first announcements we expect the president to make is that of the chief of staff, the presidential spokesman, that is the SA Media and Communications, Special Advisor Media and Communications, to the president, and also some senior positions of those that would run the presidential villa and would coordinate the close circle, the kitchen cabinet of the president. We expect to hear those appointments first before the president sends the list of his federal cabinet to the National Assembly for confirmation.
Femi, all right, on the president's next moves. Thank you very much, Femi Akande, our State House correspondent for us there in Abuja. We'll take a moment and the program returns shortly.